Good afternoon. I'm Teresa Melito-Conners, or Dr. MC, of Dr. MC's Self-Care Cabaret. Thanks for joining me on this lovely Tuesday here in the greater Boston area. The sun is shining. Life is good. So let's see. Today, I actually have a focus topic to talk to you about. The topic of intuitive eating. I have mentioned this before, and folks asked me to talk more about it, so we're going to go a little bit more in depth with intuitive eating. First, I want to share a little bit about how I got into intuitive eating and how I was first introduced to it. So, I have struggled with disordered eating since around 17 years old, and I'm now 37, so that's been a while. And through various times in my life, I've done different diets and whatnot, and different practices to restrict and control my weight. And it hasn't worked. As a matter of fact, it has backfired. And about, 5 years ago, I was probably the most disordered in my eating habits leading up to my wedding. I had really gone pretty extreme in terms of controlling and restricting food intake and over-exercising to the point of just beyond any healthy limits that anyone should ever do. So I sought the help of a nutritionist and I actually went to an eating disorder dietitian, and she's the one who first introduced me to intuitive eating. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is intuitive eating is not a diet. It is not a diet at all. Its goal is actually not weight loss. But if you are someone who struggles with weight and body image and body acceptance and all that good stuff, I suggest and recommend that you look into this as kind of a way of being, not necessarily with losing weight as your ultimate goal. So, we're also going to talk about the 10 principles of intuitive eating. We're going to talk about the difference between intuitive eating and mindful eating. And we're also going to I'm going to lead you through some affirmations around body positivity and body acceptance. And then we're going to end with a body image guided relaxation. So, this research comes from the book Intuitive Eating, which is by Evelyn Tribole and Elise Resch. And again, I want to remind you, this is not a diet. This is a way of being. And I will tell you from experience, dieting is set up to fail. The diet industry is set up so you will continue to fail at maintaining weight loss. Diet programs are too restrictive. They encourage you to believe foods are bad, and some foods are good, some foods are bad. And they encourage you to sometimes exercise beyond healthy limits, and they're just not successful. And I am living proof of years of yo-yo dieting and watching it fail and seeing the results it has had on my metabolism. And getting to this point of kind of body acceptance has certainly been a journey, and I'm not perfect at it even still, but I'm definitely healthier than I was when I was in the depths of my disordered eating and eating disorders. So, I never had like a commonly accepted diagnosis. Disordered eating is not something recognized in the DSM. Neither is exercise bulimia, but those would be kind of where I struggled the most. So, intuitive eating. There's also, I can share other resources at the end of people that I think you should look into if you're really interested in this. You definitely want to read the book, Intuitive Eating. That's kind of the starting point. There's an intuitive eating workbook, which I highly recommend. And ironically enough, when I was doing the work of the intuitive eating workbook, there's a definition in there of self-care. That definition of self-care is the one I ended up basing my entire dissertation on. One of the domains, if you remember, of self-care is nutrition and hydration. There's nothing in there about restricting. and over-exercising. Exercise is another domain, but it comes from a place of joyful movement, exercising our bodies, doing things that make us feel good. And over-exercising doesn't feel good. Okay, so intuitive eating. There are 10 basic principles of intuitive eating. The first, and you have to kind of achieve each principle before you move on. And obviously, this is explained much more in depthly in the book, but we're going to review them here. So the first one is to reject the diet mentality. If you have ever done a diet and it has failed, you probably feel like that is a failure on your own part, and you probably feel bad about it. I'm telling you, and intuitive eating would tell you, you were set up to fail. You did not fail. Diets are set up to fail. So we must, to meet the principle of intuitive eating, number one, we must reject the diet mentality and say no to fad diets and rigid rules around eating. Over the years, I've come up with so many different rules for eating that were just based in diet culture and not based in any reality. I mean, there's some diets that'll tell you not to eat fruit or certain vegetables. Anyway, principle 2, honor your hunger. This is a huge one. So the basic premise of intuitive eating is that you eat when you are hungry and you stop when you are full. That sounds really easy, but of course it's much harder than that because we tend to eat without listening to our body. We tend to eat in a way where we just are on autopilot. We get a portion served to us at a restaurant, we just eat it. We buy a pre-portioned Smart Ones meal and we just eat it. Or we make dinner, we make our plate, we just eat what's in front of us. We don't actually listen to our body to tell us if we're full. And it actually takes 20 minutes from your stomach to tell your brain that you're full. So if you eat very quickly, some of us eat at our desks, we eat on the run, we choke down a snack here and there, we don't actually take the time to enjoy a meal, that is not honoring your hunger. That's principle 2. Principle 3, make peace with food. Restriction often leads to overeating. So give yourself permission to eat all the foods. There is no such thing as a bad food when you are practicing intuitive eating. If you want mac and cheese, and that's really what you want, you eat mac and cheese. You may stop and not eat the whole serving, but if that's what you want, you allow your body to have that. When we restrict food, we tend to crave it even more, and that can be very triggering, and that can lead to binge behaviors, which I've done all those too over the years. But if we can make peace with food and understand that there's no good food and there's no bad food. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should be eating McDonald's every night of the week. If that's really what your body wants, an argument could be made that you can do that. However, if you're really listening to your body and in tune with your body and your hunger cues, you will start to notice and recognize that some foods make you feel better than others. So you may choose to make a burger at home instead of going to McDonald's because home cooked food may make you feel better the next day, may provide you with more fuel and energy and nutrition as opposed to a fast food option. But if you want the fast food option, you can have it according to intuitive eating. Principle 4, challenge the food police. Stop equating your worth to the good or bad food you ate today. This is taking guilt out of food. If you will keep using McDonald's as an example, hopefully I don't get sued by them, but if you eat fast food and then you beat yourself up about it for the rest of the day, or maybe you punish yourself for it and you exercise like crazy because you're trying to burn off what you ate, that's also not intuitive eating. So we have to take the guilt out of what we consume and what we crave. And so turn off the food police. no good or bad foods. And if you did eat something that maybe afterwards you're like, that didn't make me feel good, then next time maybe you can make a different choice. But that doesn't mean that you beat yourself up about it and punish yourself for it. Principle number 5, respect your fullness. Tune into your body's signals for fullness. A hunger scale can help you listen to your cues and avoid that overstuffed feeling. I know I've definitely done that, eaten past kind of my hunger point. So that's something, though, we need to relearn to do when you are practicing intuitive eating. We have to relearn to listen to our body. And when we're full, you can stop eating. If you're still hungry, you can keep eating. Principle 6, discover the satisfaction factor. Food is an experience meant to be nourishing, joyful, and satisfying if you let it be. We as a society have a lot of ideas around food and meals and how we eat and what an ideal body looks like and what a non-ideal body looks like. And there's a lot of fat phobia in various fields, from medical professionals, just assuming that, somebody who lives in a larger body must be unhealthy and just eating fast food all day long. But that is not true. So we need to get in touch. This is why this is so related, in my opinion, to self-care, because a lot of the aspects of self-care where we're really getting in touch with kind of what brings us joy, what makes us feel good, it's the same for fueling our body. Number 7, honor your feelings without food. Find ways to comfort without food. We sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, turn to food to fill a void of something else. I might be feeling stressed. I might be feeling sad, scared, whatever. I turn to food as a comfort. If I'm actually hungry, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But we need to recognize when we do that, why we do that. Principle number 8, respect your body. Learn to accept your body by remembering your worth does not increase as your size decreases. I know for me, I always felt like, when I lost weight, I could do X, or I'll buy X when I am a size whatever. It didn't really work. It didn't provide the outcome that I had hoped for. And the opposite happens. I will warn you, when you are healing your body from excessive dieting, yo-yo dieting, excessive exercising, when you are finally willing to be done with restriction and be done with diets as a whole, sometimes your body reacts by actually gaining weight. Your body can't tell the difference between you restricting to fit some societal norm and actual starvation. So your body, you tend to gain weight when you are starting to let go of some of those unhealthy thought patterns and restrictions until your body can kind of settle into what is known as your set point weight, which is really a weight that you can maintain without extreme modifications to your diet and exercise routine. That comes from another book called Health at Every Size by Linda Bacon. And yes, her name is Linda Bacon, which I think is adorable for somebody who is a health at every size guru. But that's another really great book that I highly recommend reading, especially if you are on a healing journey with food and diet mentality. Exercise. So when you exercise from an intuitive eating perspective, you are not exercising to lose weight. You are exercising to feel good. You participate in exercises that are joyful, and you exercise what is comfortable for you. So you don't have to go 9,000 classes a week or spend your every waking moment at the gym kind of sweat. If that doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. because you're ultimately causing other harm to your well-being by those practices. There's nothing excessive about exercise when it comes from a self-care perspective. You move your body in ways that are joyful for you. So you figure out what that is. And everybody will be different. For me, I love to dance. So guess what? I still dance. That's how I move my body. It is imperative that we move our bodies and that we do not stay sedentary. But if going to a gym is not your thing, but you like to walk. That's fine. Go for a walk, go swimming, do karate, dance, whatever movement is going to help you. Even just gentle stretching and yoga is really, really good exercise. Keeps our body limber, keeps our muscles moving, keeps our breath flowing. Great activities. And last but certainly not least, the 10th principle of intuitive eating is honor your health. Anti-diet does not mean anti-health. Choose nutrient-dense foods most of the time while allowing for some indulgences without guilt. I'm going to read that one again. Anti-diet is not anti-health. Choose nutrient-dense foods most of the time while allowing for some indulgences without guilt. So those are the basic 10 principles of intuitive eating. And I'm looking at the intro on this document that I have in front of me. To date, there are over 80 studies that highlight the benefits of intuitive eating and health outcomes. This is probably from a couple of years ago, so it's probably even more than 80 studies at this point. There is very strong research to suggest that this is kind of where the health and wellness industry should be going and not the way of some really popular diets that exist. So, is it the same as mindful eating? Sorta. There definitely are overlaps between mindful eating and intuitive eating, but what intuitive eating does is it actually takes it back a little bit from a more kind of balcony perspective and incorporates things like exercise and kind of the whole body wellness, as opposed to mindful eating, which really just focuses on the act of eating. So, mindful eating is allowing yourself to become aware of the positive and nurturing opportunities that are available through food selection and preparation by respecting your own inner wisdom. Mindful eating is using all of your senses and choosing to eat food that is both satisfying to you and nourishing to your body. Mindful eating is acknowledging responses to food, likes, dislikes, or neutral without judgment. If you don't like kale, don't eat kale because you think it's healthy. Find something else that is going to provide those nutrients that you actually enjoy eating. Mindful eating is becoming aware of physical hunger and your hunger cues to guide your decisions to begin and end eating. So becoming aware of your physical hunger and fullness cues to guide your decisions to begin and end eating. So both intuitive eating and mindful eating do not prescribe any like plans or times of day you have to eat or anything like that. You eat when you're hungry. That's it. You can stop when you're full. And it focuses on how we engage with food, our body, and the eating experience. I think it's really cool, and I think it's worth exploring. I am not an expert. However, through the work that I did a few years ago with the eating disorder dietitian and some of my research and obviously my work on self-care, I definitely have broken many, if not all, of the really, really unhealthy habits I had developed over the years as a way to control my weight. And I finally, accept myself that some bodies are meant to be larger than others, and that's okay. And it doesn't mean that anybody's any better or worse than anybody else. And that's just kind of my perspective. So I wanted to share that with you. And I did, I think I mentioned last week that Hay House was having a big sale. So I bought some books by Louise Hay. And surprise, she has some body positive little affirmations in here. So I'm going to share these with you. These recordings are always available after the fact. So I encourage you to listen to them again, especially this one. If you're interested in more about intuitive eating, maybe write these mantras down or, listen to the recording again at a later date so you can really start to build this into your belief system. My body is a good friend that I take loving care of. I love my body. My body is perfect for me at this time. My body weight is also perfect. I am exactly where I choose to be. I am beautiful, and every day I become more attractive. This concept used to be very hard for me to accept, yet things are changing now that I am treating myself as if I were someone who was deeply loved. I am learning to reward myself with healthy little treats and pleasures now and again. Little acts of love nurture me. Doing things that I really like, such as quiet time, a walk in nature, a hot, soothing bath, or anything that really gives me pleasure. I enjoy caring for myself. I believe it is okay to like myself and to be my own best friend. I know my body is filled with starlight and that I sparkle and glow everywhere I go. That is Louise Hay's affirmation on body. And I wanted to share her affirmation on nutrition as well. I lovingly take charge of my body now. I nourish myself with love. I care enough for myself to nourish myself with all the best that life has to offer. I learn about nutrition because I am a precious being and I want to take the best care of me that I can. My body is special and different from all other bodies. Therefore, I learn the things that my body assimilates the best. I learn everything I can about food and beverages. I pay attention to what I eat and drink, and I notice if some food or beverage does not seem to agree with me. If I have something to eat and an hour later I fall asleep, I realize that that particular food is not good for my body at this time. I search out the foods that give me good energy. I bless all of my food with love and gratitude. I am nurtured and nourished. I feel healthy, happy, and great. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about Ayurveda, the ancient healing system from India. And one of the Ayurveda principles when it comes to food is that you prepare your food with love. So this is why, cooking at home or when you prepare, even if you get takeout, like how you eat it. Do you just scarf the pizza down out of the box while you're standing in the kitchen while it's still hot and you didn't even put it on a plate? That's a big difference than if you actually take the food, place it nicely on a fancy dish, not just a paper plate, and you actually sit down and enjoy the food without distractions. You don't always have to have the TV going or music playing. You can just be present with your food during your mealtime. Ayurveda also goes into different seasons and different foods and how you should be fueling your body based upon seasons and what's kind of, different foods and fruits and whatnot and vegetables are in season in different seasons. Ayurveda gets into all that with eating along those lines too. So if you're really interested in this stuff, that's another aspect you can look at. So for today's guided meditation, first I want to mention a couple of other things. So this is the Intuitive Eating book, which I mentioned in the beginning. There's audio versions, of course, Kindle versions, all that good stuff, and the workbook. There's also a really great podcast called Food Psych. And Christy Harrison recently released a book, and she is the host of the Food Psych podcast, and she interviews a lot of intuitive eating practitioners and people that have healed their bodies with intuitive eating. And so she's really a great place if you like podcasts, check her out. And then there are also, like, if you need help for any eating disorder behaviors, or just need support and that kind of stuff, there are lots of supports and groups and whatnot. Reach out to me. I'd be happy to try to point you in the right direction and share the name of the person I worked with, as well as some other groups around. There is a group in Boston called MEDA, I think it's Multi-Services Eating Disorder Association. They do a ton of stuff. Even their Facebook page is really great to join, and their Instagram. They host a lot of really great speakers and people's real experiences with food and dieting and healing and all that good stuff, and recovery from disordered eating and various eating disorders. I hope to actually do some presentations with MEDA in the coming months. I've spoken to them about that. Nothing is set in stone, but that will be forthcoming as well. And certainly check them out in the meantime. So it might be a resource for you to help you with this. So today's guided meditation is about body image. Yay! So, like I said, I really kept this on theme today with what we have going on. And I do see some comments, other people agreeing with me about diets being bad, and eating till I feel full is somehow a comfort to me. And some days I just feel empty unless I'm over full. Yeah, definitely. I've experienced that before. I can't say I've never experienced it again, or will never experience it again, but definitely intuitive eating and really tuning into your body. We do not listen to our bodies, but our bodies give us a lot of warning signs and a lot of information that if we can get to the point and slow down our thoughts and slow down enough, and you can do this through all the self-care practices we talk about, and you can actually start listening to your body will tell you what it needs. We just have to allow it. We just have to allow ourselves to listen. So the body image relaxation. This body image relaxation script is a guided meditation focused on self-acceptance and self-image. Again, as with every week, I did not write this. This comes from Inner Health Studio. It is their script, and I am just reading it here for you. So take a moment to settle into a comfortable position. Notice now how you are feeling. How are you doing right now in this moment? How does your body feel? Scan your body for a moment now, starting at your feet. Simply noticing how your body is feeling. Notice your feet, ankles, legs, hips. Continue scanning your body, moving upward to your stomach, back, chest, sides. Mentally scan your hands, arms, and shoulders, your neck, head, and face. Where is your body the most tense? Where is your body the most relaxed? Just notice the state of tension and relaxation in your body. Notice how your body relaxes, bit by bit, without any effort on your part. See how your muscles become a little bit looser, less tense, naturally, just because you are taking a moment to sit quietly and relax. Without any effort or input from you, without you even trying, your body becoming slightly more relaxed with each passing moment. Think about your body image. What is body image? Maybe you think about the picture in your mind. you have of what your body looks like. Maybe it's the ideas you have about your body, your feelings about your physical self. Perhaps body image is a vision of how you think your body should be. What does body image mean to you? Take a moment now to consider your thoughts and ideas about your own body. How are you feeling right now thinking about your body image? You might feel neutral, content, comfortable, uncomfortable, satisfied, dissatisfied, happy, unhappy, angry, afraid. Maybe a combination of things. Contradictory feelings are common, and it is okay to feel however you are feeling. What might it be like to accept your body just as it is? What if you felt okay about your physical self? Imagine for a moment what that would be like. Think about a time in your life when you felt accepting of your physical self, your whole self, or even part of yourself. Which parts of your body are the easiest for you to accept? Imagine if you could accept your body as a whole rather than as a collection of individual parts. You have been doing some difficult thinking these last few moments. Let's take a step back now, mentally, to relax. Breathe in deeply and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. It feels good to take deep, calm breaths. Just relax for a moment while you notice your breathing. Just notice your breaths for a moment. If there are any areas where you are feeling tense, direct your attention to these areas as you breathe, imagining that each breath brings relaxation and each breath out expels tension. Breathe in relaxation, breathe out tension. Each breath relaxes you further. Now I will say some body affirmations. You can repeat these if you wish, or simply relax as I talk. Each affirmation is true, even if it may not seem true right now. Let's begin. I am okay the way I am. I can accept myself the way I am. My body is acceptable just the way it is. I am a good person. I accept this body I am in. There is no need to be perfect. My imperfections make me unique. I am perfectly all right just the way I am. My body is a functioning whole. I am human and all humans have flaws. I can accept my imperfections. I free myself from judging my body. I am okay just the way I am. I accept myself. Now that you have repeated some affirmations, take note of how you are feeling. What was it like to repeat or listen to the affirmations? It is okay to feel however you are feeling right now, good or bad. Accept the variety of feelings you may have. Take a moment now to just relax. Let all the worries and tension go as you breathe slowly. In and out. In and out. Continue to breathe slowly, deeply, and naturally. When you are ready to return to your waking level of consciousness, slowly leave this relaxed state you are in. Keep with you a feeling of calm while becoming more awake and alert. Wake up your body and your mind. Move your arms and legs a little and feel your muscles reawakening. I'll count up now from 5 to 1. When I reach 1, you will be fully awake and ready to return to your usual activities. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you. That was a little different than our previous guided meditations. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed today's overview of the principles of intuitive eating and a little bit about the difference between intuitive eating and mindful eating. And my sharing my experiences with those practices with you. Lastly, today, I have a special mindful eating card deck that actually comes from Australia, from Body Positive Australia. And there's all different activities you can do to help practice mindful eating. So I pulled 3 and I wanted to share them. This isn't necessarily like other card pulls where I have you think of a number, because I think all 3 of these can be good for you regardless of what number you're thinking of. So in no particular order, card 1. Create your own definition of balance and moderation. You, like every other human, are unique. So create your own definition of balance and moderation. So think about what that means to you, what those words mean to you. This is a mindful meal meditation. What does my body need right now? What do I need right now? So if you can get to a place where you're thinking about, maybe you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed or sad or happy or mad, whatever you're feeling, you can get into a place where you can determine and listen to your body and determine, what does my body need right now? These are hard to focus on the camera. What does my body need right now? What do I need right now? And lastly, the third card, it is fine to eat when you are not hungry, but aim to bring awareness to when and why you might be doing it. There is no need to judge, just observe and get curious. So if we know we're eating and we're not hungry, I don't know why this is, there we go. It's fine to eat when you're not hungry, but aim to bring awareness when and why you might be doing it. No need to judge, observe, and get curious. So this goes back, like, it's fine. If you're not hungry and you want to eat, eat. But try to figure out why you're doing that. Are you using food to fill a different emotion? Is there another soothing strategy you can use? Is there another method you can utilize as instead of eating if you're not hungry? Perhaps a 5-minute dance party to your favorite Lizzo song will help, or maybe some gentle stretching, or maybe a quick meditation, maybe watching Dr. MC's latest live video instead of eating, whatever it is, but figure it out. Really listen to your body and figure out what activity you can do. But if you eat and you weren't hungry, that's fine. You're not a bad person. You don't need to punish yourself. You don't need to skip a meal as a result. You don't need to do any of those guilt-ridden activities that sometimes we do when we feel badly about ourselves because we ate something that we think we shouldn't have. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this Facebook Live session, and we'll be back again next week. Once we start getting into summer proper and the school year ends for me, I may be adjusting the time, but I'll be sure to post it in the group. But for now, we'll stick with Tuesdays at noon because that seems to be working. And as always, you can catch the videos on the replay. All of them are saved in the library on the Dr. MC Self-Care Cabaret page. And that's it. Stay well, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.